It that way.
It's Dave TV, November 1, 2012.
Jeez, how long are we going back now? Let's see, I left 15, 20 years ago almost, maybe.
Okay.
I hired somebody on a morning show that I was working for. And he started producing a show that I was on. And at first it was a very professional relationship, and then it became very personal. Like, over, I'd say, the last 15, 20 years, this guy has become one of my best friends. Not best radio friends. I'm talking about best.
Okay, this is Bert Weiss talking.
This is a guy that
he's on Atlanta's. He's been doing the morning show on Atlanta's Q100.
Harry Potter world together.
Mm-hmm.
These are.
And Bert used to be on Jack Diamond's morning show on Mix 107.3.
This is a guy that
Bert goes down to Atlanta to do a morning show. They're still good friends with Jack Diamond.
Vice versa.
So last week, Bert finds out
a close friend, I would say,
that Jimmy Alexander from Bert's show, from Jack's show, Jack Diamond's show in Mix 107.3, is coming down to Atlanta to compete with him on another station, Star 94.
Is this guy as close as him?
So basically, Jack Diamond. So these are two Jack Diamond alums who are going to be competing against each other in Morning Drive in Atlanta. Well, Bert goes on the air the other day. I guess yesterday, was it?
Okay, gotcha.
Or
so
recently. The 29th, which is a couple days ago.
With people saying, "Hey, have you heard the news?" Like, what are you
and
about?
Bert is mad because his good friend Jack, who he's vacationed with, good friend, never even tipped him off that Jimmy was coming down there.
Competing against, I'm going to say,
Bert's mad and gets on the air.
Personally,
Mm-hmm.
me in our home city, which is devastating news to me. Devastating news, because for 10 years I've tried to protect him professionally and personally. I just can't get into specifics on it.
Yeah, it doesn't mention any names here.
I think when you compete against somebody, I'm not really a big fan of like, hey, we can both be successful in the same arena. Look, my job when I walk in here in the morning is to make sure that other morning shows.
So it puts Bert in an awkward position now. He's competing against a friend who he thought was a friend anyway. A guy who he had mentored over there at Mix 107.3, Jimmy Alexander.
So I expect new competition to come and go. That's not what this is all about. I'm not afraid of this guy coming in and beating us. This has zero to do with that. But what it means now is I have to come in every morning, and the one guy in our industry, or the one guy in my life that I want to see succeed more than anything else, I now have to be responsible for making sure he's not successful.
Your relationship has totally changed.
Relationship's totally changed. Now,
and you haven't talked to him yet, you said?
Well, I was pretty fired up Friday. I got to tell you, I was so hurt. And how does a guy handle getting hurt? We drink and then we yell. So I immediately started drinking, and then I called him, and for about 30 seconds, I was telling him how hurt I was about it. I didn't even give him a chance to talk. I hung up on him. Then
that's Bert calling Jimmy Alexander.
Morning, I sent him more of an accurate portrayal of how I'm feeling. Not mad, really deeply, deeply hurt by his decision.
The decision to take the job, or the decision not to tell you?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Because my mentor is in Dallas. That's the guy that I learned half of everything about radio from. His name is Kid Craddock. We're doing business with each other now. And I've been offered so many different times to go into Dallas and compete against him. And I'd always tell my agent, you can stop right there. That's like my brother. He's an older brother to me. I mean, I owe him so much. No. Mm-hmm. And if I ever did go into Dallas, what I would do is I would fly. First of all, I wouldn't take the job. I'd fly into Dallas. I'd sit down with him and I'd say, I have an opportunity in your city. I'm not going to take it without your blessing.
Okay, so now the question that we're wondering, here's what's going on now. Okay, so we got Bert down in Atlanta, Jimmy coming down to Atlanta, both Jack Diamond alums. Jack Diamond alums. They're both going down there. It's this crazy thing now. They were all friends, but now Bert's mad at Jimmy because they're going to be competing, and Bert's mad at Jack for not telling him or tipping him off, and Jack knew full well what's going on now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, there's been a lot of rumors over the years a lot of rumors over the years that somebody's going to put Bert on here in Washington because this show is syndicated. And one of the stations that has always been mentioned as a possible place for Bert is Mix 107.3. So wouldn't it be a funny end to this whole story if Bert's show displaces Jack Diamond's show at Mix 107.3? There's a lot of rumors, and we've been running them for years, that Jack's really high paid, that Cumulus, the new owner of Mix 107.3, wants kind of say bye-bye Jack. Jack gets still pretty decent ratings, don't question that. But he's older, and Mix 107.3 is having to compete with Fresh and Hot 99.5, which skew quite younger. And eventually, somebody's going to come down the pike and say, hey, Jack, you've done well over the years. It's time to go. Bert's going to skew younger. We're going to put Bert in here. I don't know. It could happen. I don't know. This is just an interesting little one of those DJ Family Feud things going on here.
I told him, look, if you sign a contract with this guy again, I'm going to fly up.
Okay, so anyhow, that's Bert's rant from October 29th. Bert Weiss. The Jack Diamond family. The Jack Diamond dysfunctional family. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. What's going on here? Okay, criticize Washington Post a lot, and they do deserve it. But, you know, one of the things I like about the Post is when they do these really cool storm map things, post coverage. This is cool. This was in yesterday's paper, Sandy's Reach. Really nice color graphics here where the wind speeds and the storm reach and how it affected everybody, and it went from North Carolina all the way up to Maine. And they do this, seems to do it for every storm that hits the area. A big one, when a big one hits, you know, like Sandy did. And a nice storm. Now, they could have improved this a little bit by putting a little more details here in Northern Virginia about wind speeds and rainfall totals. It's sadly lacking. You know, there's a big chunk of Virginia here where that isn't there. Interesting with the Post yesterday. And again, we're seeing the same weird thing between Eric Wemple, who pens the media blog, and Paul Farhi, who does media write-ups for the paper. Here's Eric Wemple basically covering, you know, somebody tweeted the fact that the New York Stock Exchange had flooded, and Eric Wemple's first on it. He's covering it all for the Washington Post website and all that, and his little blog over there. And you know, he could easily, they could have taken that and printed it in the paper, you know, or had him do the write-up. And no, Paul Farhi comes in to do the write-up. It's weird. I don't know. There's some weird hierarchy over there, and I don't quite get it. It seems weird at a newspaper that's struggling so much that you have two people covering the same kind of things. And then when one of your internet people does come up with something, scoops something, or does really good coverage of something, another reporter comes in to write it up for the paper. I don't know. What's up with that? That's kind of a crappy way to be, isn't it? I mean, is there a contract that Paul Farhi gets first dibs on writing up certain stories? I know Wemple's kind of, I've asked him several times, and he always says, oh, it doesn't bother me. It's just the way this paper is. I'm not, you know, I don't question it. Yeah, right. It's got to make him mad. Hey, he's all over the story on one day. He's covering it as it's happening. And then here comes Paul Farhi to write it up for the paper with his nice little byline in the paper. And, of course, since that's there on the website, he probably gets a lot of the links. It's got to drive him crazy. Crazy! Crazy! So anyhow, that's about it for today. What else? Harvey Kojan. I don't know how you spell his last. It's pronounced Kojan, Kojan. We're hearing he's been cut from his program director post at Baltimore area classic rocker WZBA The Bay. He'd been there since April of 2009. I believe he came from WNOR, a rocker down in Norfolk for many years. So, I don't know what's going on over there. Shamrock likes to cut people. People could come and go at that station. It's like a turnstile. You come, you go. You go. Former Washington Wizards coach Flip Saunders joins the ESPN as an NBA analyst. So there. All right, folks. That should do it for today, huh? I thought I had something else to say. I really did. Hey, I got an idea for you. I'm cutting my budget here. You know, we felt the recession. DCR TV has felt the recession. You know, advertising's great, but I have, my advertisers, a lot of them have been hurt by the recession and all that, so I make deals. Okay, give me a little less for the ad, but the ad revenue is about the same as last year, but it should be up. But anyhow, whatever. So I do like to make cuts. So I go around, I call Comcast, I call Verizon, I call all these different people, my healthcare, insurance companies. You know what? It really does work. If you call them up and say, you know what? I'm tired of paying XXX for your service. I want to pay less. What can you do for me? It's surprising how many of these companies have special deals and shit and will negotiate with you. It's amazing. Just call them up and just say, or just say, I'm going to go to the rival. If you're with Comcast, threaten to go to Verizon or threaten to go to Dish Network or DirecTV and just say, I'm tired of paying $138 a month for my cable and internet. And and they'll say, hold on a second, let me check. Well, we have a 1-year special here, and we'll add some channels to your package, and we'll cut your bill by $30. And you'll go, okay, at least for a year, you're going to be paying less and getting more. That's common. Try it, okay? Call up your, Verizon, Comcast. People tell me with the Washington Post, if you threaten to quit in the Post, they'll actually give you a special deal for, temporary anyway, but at least it saves you some money. But it seems to work across the board. I'm doing one of the things that kills being a self-employed person is healthcare costs, health insurance, and I have I'm actually playing people against each other. I call this guy, call this company up, call this company up. They're offering me this, they're offering me this, and you actually can play them against each other. And they do, the people you talk to on the phone have the authority to cut you some deals in a lot of cases. And I'm finding that it's interesting. That's right. And we have deals here at DCR TV. Make your donation $29 or more, and we'll give you a year of DCR TV Plus. Make it $30, and we'll give you 2 years. And even though that deal has effectively ended officially ended as of October 31st, I'll extend it. Anybody who makes a $30 donation to DCR TV in November, I will give you 2 years of DCR TV Plus, which today has a really cool memory of Channel 2, WMAR in Baltimore from back in the 60s. So check that out. Okay, just click on the support little linky dinky winky winky at the top of DCR TV's main page there. Thanks for watching Dave TV for November 1st, 2012. So there. Book 'em, Dano.